Welcome back, folks. This is the American elm that we did some work on last season. It is the first week of June. The stuff that I'm doing on these trees now is I'm doing it a little late. My son was born on Christmas Day, so I've been focusing on that and kind of let the trees slack off a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and do what we need to do this season for this tree here. As you can see, I've got lots of growth on this tree since the beginning of the growing season. We're looking at about a foot and a half or so, and some of these even more than that. What we're going to focus on with this one is ramification again. So we're going to be reducing all of this back to 1 to 2 sets of leaves. This one grows a little bit differently. This is an alternating leaf pattern, so you have a leaf here and then a leaf here on the opposite side, and there's about an inch in between the two. Whereas your maples and things like that are going to have 2 leaves coming out from the same intersection. So this one, you're going to want to think ahead when you're cutting these back. You're going to want to plan for the future as to where you're going to want your next branch to go. So depending on which leaf that you leave out, that's the direction your next branch is going to go. So we'll go ahead and go through this tree and cut it back. I'm not going to bore you guys with doing that on camera because you've probably seen it 100 times. I think I've done it on several videos. I did have some mycorrhizas successfully growing here. I've got a couple fruiting bodies, which are, most people know as mushrooms, popped up in the soil here. So I know my mycorrhiza inoculation that I put into these soil compounds that I used a few years back is working. So that's why these trees are really healthy. Number one, the roots have been allowed to grow for 3 growing seasons in these pots to be very established. Number two, I inoculated my soil with mycorrhiza, and I've got a really fast draining soil that does retain some water. So that's the secret to success on getting a lot of growth with these trees. It's really not rocket science. It's pretty common sense. You will need to adjust your compounds as far as what you put into your soil for your specific climate. I'm in South Carolina. It's very hot in the summer. Sometimes I have to water these twice a day. So enough chat, enough talk. Let's go ahead and get this thing knocked back to where it belongs, and then we'll come back. This is going to be a pretty short video. Not a whole lot to go over as far as details concerned. Let's go ahead and get it knocked back so we can see what we're dealing with, and then we'll revisit this tree then. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back. As you can see, once again, we're going to go ahead and just reduce everything down to 2 to 3 leaves per branch. Depending on where it is, if it needs to be a little bit longer, we leave 3. If it needs to be a little bit shorter, reduce it to 2, sometimes even to 1. Just depends on where on the tree it is and what you're trying to accomplish for your overall final design. This tree is starting to me to look like it's leaning a little too far forward, so I think next time we replant this thing, we're going to change the planting angle on it slightly. Or I'm going to be wiring the apex of this back a little bit so it's more upright, because right now the tree is leaning quite a bit forward, and you'll see that here in a few moments. There were only 2 branches that I did want to go ahead and wire into position. One of them is this one here, and one of them is this one here. Both of these 2 branches are kind of important branches on the tree, so I want to keep them, but they were both growing straight up, so we needed to bring those more towards a horizontal plane than a vertical plane so we can maintain the proper look of the tree. So that's pretty much it for this tree this season. And once again, it's going back out to the bench, and we're going to go ahead and not fertilize a bunch this year. We're just going to maintain. When we do fertilize, we're going to use very low nitrogen and more potassium and phosphorus. That's for root development more so. And I guess root development is mainly on these trees because they really don't technically have a flower, but flowering and root development is phosphorus and potassium. Nitrogen's for growth and foliage. So let's do a quick 360 here on this tree. When you see me going sideways, you can see how far forward this tree is leaning. And that's why I want to go ahead and change the planting angle when I repot this next. I think we're going to, let me see if I can do this. We're going to go ahead and change the planting angle a little bit more to something along that inclination. I just think it would look a little bit better. It's leaning really far forward right now with the way it's growing. Or if I just, like I said before, move the apex back a little bit, I think that'll even help out as well. I don't know if you guys can see them or not, but the mushrooms are right here in this corner. They're pretty much dead. I mean, I didn't get them when they were in maximum bloom. Actually, one of them's dying back and one of them's growing up right now, so maybe a little bit longer later. I've got a lot of really small mushrooms around the base of the tree as well. So that just lets me know there's a couple different kinds of mushroom, which means the mycorrhiza in this soil is really healthy, which in turn you can tell by the health of the tree and the abundance of growth. So that's pretty much it for this tree this season. I want to thank you guys for watching. I also, in here today, I've got myself a helper. Come on over here, helper. Say hi to everybody. Come over here in the camera. This is Raina. She's my daughter. She's been in here helping me out when I cut the branches back. She's been getting the branches and cleaning them up for me and doing a really good job. So I wanted to make sure she got some credit in this video. Okay, thanks, honey. So that's pretty much it. Like I said before, we're going to let her water. We'll revisit this one again late summer, early fall, see how it's doing. You'll be able to see them as well. I'm going to plan on doing a little bit more of the Journey to My Benches series this year as well. I'm going to try to get maybe 2 or 3 more of those in this season. Unfortunately, I can't put out a ton of videos all the time. Bonsai is kind of a slow and tedious hobby to have. I'd like to be putting out more videos than I do. It's just you've got to do things and then wait for the tree to respond, and then you can do some more, and then you've got to wait. And it's just a game that you play with these. So I appreciate everybody's patience. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your comments. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.